Welcome back to our journey through the book of Genesis. Today, we're delving into one of the most pivotal chapters in the Bible, Genesis 3:1-21. This chapter marks a significant turning point in the history of mankind, the fall of man. Let's dive into the story. The scene is set in the idyllic Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, the first humans created by God, live in perfect harmony with nature and their creator. But lurking in this paradise is a cunning adversary, Genesis 3:1 introduces us to the serpent, described as more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. The serpent, embodied by Satan, approaches Eve with a question designed to sow doubt. He asks if God really said that they must not eat from any tree in the garden. Eve clarifies that they may eat the fruit of any tree except the one in the middle of the garden, warning that eating or even touching it would lead to death. The serpent counters, claiming that they will not surely die. Instead, he suggests that eating the fruit will open their eyes and make them like God, knowing good and evil. Enticed by the prospect of wisdom, Eve looks at the fruit differently now. She takes the fruit, eats it, and gives some to Adam, who is with her. Immediately their eyes are opened, and they realize their nakedness. Overwhelmed with shame, they sew fig leaves together to cover themselves. As the cool evening breeze blows, they hear the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. Filled with guilt and fear, they hide amongst the trees. God calls out to Adam, asking where he is. Adam replies that he hid because he was afraid, realizing his nakedness. God then asks if he has eaten from the forbidden tree. Adam confesses, placing the blame on Eve, saying that she gave him the fruit. Eve in turn blames the serpent for deceiving her. God addresses the serpent first, pronouncing a curse upon it. The serpent is condemned to crawl on its belly and eat dust all the days of its life. Furthermore, God declares an enmity between the serpent and the woman and between their offspring. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. This verse, often referred to as the Protovangelium, hints at the future victory over sin and Satan through Jesus Christ. God then turns to Eve, declaring that her pain in childbirth will be greatly increased and that her desire will be for her husband, who will rule over her. To Adam, God announces that the ground is cursed because of his disobedience. He will toil and sweat to produce food from it until he returns to the dust from which he was made. Despite their disobedience, God shows mercy. He makes garments of skins for Adam and Eve, clothing them in their time of need. This act of providing garments foreshadows the ultimate sacrifice that will cover the sins of humanity. Genesis 3:1-21 is a story of temptation, disobedience, and consequences, but it's also a story of hope and redemption. It sets the stage for God's plan to restore the broken relationship between himself and mankind. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned as we continue exploring the profound narratives of Genesis. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more biblical stories and teachings.